elaborate upon them, discuss them. Just opening that up for any discussion if anybody would like to share anything.
Could you scroll down?
Yeah, I can scroll down.
Yeah, thank you, Jess.
Could I ask something?
Yes, yeah.
Yep. So I'm really quite interested in, it's been mentioned a couple of times, staff training, thinking of academic staff training. And I'm just, it's not even really a question, it's just if everybody does that and how it goes. You know, I'm a bit worried about being sort of, you know, who on earth do you think you are telling us how to teach our students type scenario.
Right. So in-sessional staff training, or do you mean in-sessional staff training staff in the university?
I mean training for academic staff, so the subject-specific lecturers, making them aware of the fact that, you know, it's different for international students and not speaking at 100 miles an hour and being clear and all this sort of stuff. I'm wondering if people do much of that.
Well, yes, at the risk of speaking out of turn, it occurs to me that within the context of university teaching, that we in the EAP or the English language teaching or the academic skills unit, whatever you want to call it, we're probably the most qualified, the teachers with the most qualifications in teaching. Yeah, and the professors and lecturers, they know their onions when they got to their subjects, but they've either learned teaching through experience rather than through qualification and training, and so that's a very sensitive issue, but a vital one, I feel. Kimberly, I see your hand is up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say this is something that's coming up increasingly where I work at the University of Chester. So our international provision has mushroomed over the last few years, and we've got 2,000 students, and faculty staff are struggling to cope. And so one of the things that's happening is they're beginning to come to us to ask for help. And this is an opportunity for us to start very carefully, because I think you're right, it's very sensitive to have these discussions. And they've actually set up a SIG for international students. So I'll be giving a little talk to them about even little things like don't put up the assessment brief at, you know, and have them and start talking over it immediately when you put it up. Give them a chance to read it first and then start explaining it. And they go, oh yes, I think, you know, I think so, you know, I think it is possible to have those discussions, but it needs to be with the right people in the right circumstances, particularly when they come and ask for help, I think.
I think you're describing an ideal scenario as well, Kimberly, which is being invited in and they want you there, and they're more receptive then to the ideas.
But you know, the meeting that we're in has some quite senior people in the business school and medical school who are our main groups of students, and so hopefully it will filter down from them. You know, I agree with you. I think we're quite lucky. This is the first time. You know, a couple of years ago, my managers gave presentations about the same thing, and was not necessarily well received. Hopefully, it will be better received now.
We've I work at Nottingham Trent University, and we've been doing a lot of intercultural communication training. That's an area we're developing, but within that there is quite a lot around teaching teaching international students. You know, there's kind of like, and a lot of it is very, very practical, and it is kind of intercultural communication training, but you know, that there's a whole realm of it which is around, you know, teaching international students, but then kind of we conclude that actually that the practical ideas we're giving are for any student around the kind of scaffolding, simplicity, making your visuals clear, blah de blah. So, you know, that's we've almost shoehorned something quite by accident into something else.
Thank you.
Chris, do you have your hand up?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that I love the question that's on the right hand side. What does embedded mean? Just that. I thought I would just express my love for that question and see if anyone comes back with potential definitions or something. Let's see.
So where is that? It's down here, Chris.
I think it's on the right hand side. Yeah, there is. What does embedded mean?
What does embedded mean? Yeah.
Potentially different things to different contexts and institutions.
I can certainly answer that from a Bristol perspective, Chris. So embedded on our In-Sessional could mean at program level, or it could mean at unit level. Where it's at unit level, for example, on an undergraduate program, we would embed in a mandatory or core unit that all students were taking and try to make the provision as transferable as possible to other units. At program level, we would try and collate learning outcomes from the various course options to make it as relevant as possible. But where it's not possible to embed at unit, we would embed at program level. But we found that the more unit specific, targeted to a particular assessment the students are working on, we would get the best engagement and attendance generally.
Yeah, we do a we do a similar thing at UAL, just with the bigger courses where it's really hard to find a slot in the week to actually do a language class. So the embedding has come from the courses themselves. That's what they wanted. So some of our tutors are co-delivering on specific units, and that seems to have some value and success, although it doesn't allow the students time to develop their language outside, but at least then it's part of the delivery. And that's also, and I think it brings value to our department because the students see us in a different way that way. Can I just say, because I wrote the AI one, and because it's a big thing at the moment, and it's about how, for me, it's about how we incorporate AI into our teaching, because the old methods of teaching texts, for example, they just, the last time I went into a class to teach a text, which I thought I'd break down over the course of half an hour, they just pointed their phones at it and it translated the text straight away, and then they just read it, and then that was it, and then we had a chat about it. But it's very different, and we're not going to be able to stop it. Don't want to stop it. It's enabling students, and I think it's it's great from that point of view. And I know universities are struggling with policy on it, but I do find it interesting in terms of what impact that's going to have on in-sessional teaching. I've been in course committee meetings all this week, and a lot of the students are saying that they are using things like ChatGPT, not to construct whole essays, but to modify their tone, to make it more genre specific, to build up particular paragraphs. And I just, I would really like some more information from other people about perhaps how they're handling it, and techniques to how to incorporate it actually into the teaching itself, because in a sense it's it's helping us because it's getting over a particular barrier at the beginning, so at least then students can understand the topic and it will give them a chance to speak. So that would be absolutely my preference.
Rosa, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I was going to say related to that, because there was another entry in the Padlet about translating. Certainly, it could help them kind of translate a text, and it could be really, really useful, I think. But I have had problems I think sometimes some students, international students, come from a background where they kind of accumulate the knowledge that then they need to kind of use somehow. And I feel sometimes that the translations that they do, they think they're gonna succeed by doing that. So I find them sort of recording me and translating what I'm saying. And I sometimes tell them, I say, well, what, it might help you this, but what are you going to do with this? You're not going to go back to it and listen to it after. And somehow they're not in the class if they're doing that. And obviously if they have language limitations, they might not be able to do anything else. But sometimes it feels like a limitation from them to not be in the class. they're there on the phone translating me and looking at what I'm saying on the phone, but they're not in the class. They're not doing the activities and learning the skills, the tools that we were saying before that they need to have. They're just accumulating the knowledge by translating me. And this is an issue that I've got. I really don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't know what to do with it. You know, I tell them don't do it, but you know, sometimes some of them need it. So it's something that definitely would like to learn what other people are doing about it.
Thanks, Rosa. Michael, your hand is up. Maybe a final comment, perhaps, just with an eye on the time. But yeah. Michael.
Well, I was just going to say, this sounds like the beginning of a discussion that could easily become a future session on this because there seems to be a crossover between the question earlier that came up in one of the discussions about are we addressing home students or are we just addressing international students? Because in some universities they're addressing both of them at the same time. And then the question of these reading skills and listening skills, are they transferable from one language to another? Because just because a student is translating a text by pointing their phone at them, do they still need the same reading strategies in their own language, whether it's Arabic or Chinese or Spanish or whatever, that we're wanting them to apply to an English language text? I was just what occurred to me as I think it was Jonathan was talking earlier, but this seems to me like an interesting area to explore in a future session.
Thank you, Michael. Maybe a final comment, Catherine. Your hands up. Final comment, if that's okay. We'll
Hi, I'll just thank you very much. Just wanted to make it really quick. I would love to find out more about how people are evaluating their in-sessional provision. We're completely resetting our approach to evaluation, whereby in the past we've just had sort of happy sheets, QR code, what did you like about the session, what are you going to apply? But we're finding that's not really showing impact. We're wanting to look at different ways of how our provision has helped students develop within their disciplines. So if anyone felt happy to share anything, or perhaps we could have another discussion about evaluation in more detail another time, I would really appreciate different insights into that. Thank you.
Great, thanks very much, Catherine. Excellent. So all food for thought, and thank you very much for your contributions. I'm now going to hand over to Stella to talk a little bit more about how to get in touch with us if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll just make this very, very quick. So we really, we've got a lot of people here. We've heard amazing ideas today. Please get in touch with us. If you can contact us at our email address and just drop us a line about any ideas you'd like to do yourself for a workshop. Okay, next slide. And then just how you can follow us. We've got we're on Twitter, X. You can follow us there. We've got a Gmail account. Our website is still under construction, coming soon. And we've got a YouTube channel. So we've got some videos up there. And then any of our events, we're recording them. If you can't attend or you'd like to watch them again, they're on our YouTube site. So please follow us there too. And that's it. And then we've got a we'd love to get your feedback on this event, what you think. So I'm just popping that in the chat box. That would really help us. Thank you.
Thanks.
There's a question about where the recording is going to be. That will be on, where would that be?
YouTube.
YouTube. Okay.
On YouTube.
That may not be immediate, just for maybe a couple of days or so. So I don't want to sort of overpromise on that, but the recording and the slides will certainly appear, and we'll let people know where they are. Yeah. So I think that is it. Many thanks to all for coming. This has been the inaugural event of the BALEAP Insessional SIG. First of many. Thanks to everyone for being here. As we say, the recording of the slides will be up at some point. We'll let people know. Members of the committee are happy to stay in the room for a few moments longer, maybe till 5 o'clock, 5 past 5, something like that, if the discussion does want to continue. But other than that, we'll bring this first event to an end at this point, with many thanks to all. That's it for now. Bye-bye, and good luck with In-Sessional. Thank you very much.